Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Kofi. I make videos on this channel about tech and travel, and in this video I want to talk about the GoPro Hero 10 Black Bones. If you have no idea what a GoPro is, they make action camera. It's a brand that makes some of the world best action cameras out there, if not the best. One of their recent devices they brought out is the GoPro Hero 10 Black Bone. It's called Bones because it is a lightweight version of the standard GoPro they have. Their latest version is the GoPro 10. Now this GoPro 10 is an action camera, and the whole idea behind an action camera is having a good camera in a small form factor which is durable, that you can use in action scenes, so motorbiking, in water, in very rough terrain. And this GoPro is tried and tested and can take a lot of punches, but it is relatively heavy. And so for FPV pilots like myself, using the standard GoPro on our drones can limit the range we can get and can limit how long we can fly as well. On this GPRC 4-inch, the baby crocodile I have here, with the standard GoPro size on this, I can get somewhere 3-4 minutes max. But then using the lightweight version of what they refer to as a naked GoPro or the SMO 4K or even the Firefly X Lite, I'm able to get somewhere 8-9 minutes of flight time using the same battery. For drones like these, they are not very efficient like the DJI ones, and so reducing the lift-off payload and the weight of this thing whilst you are airborne is super important. Many of the components on here are kind of fixed in weight. Frame is fixed unless you want to change your frame. The camera, the different parts like the blades and all that are factors that are usually fixed. But one area FPV pilots thought to reduce the weight is the camera. And so naked GoPro has been a thing for some time now, where the standard GoPro is stripped down of any load, so to speak. So the battery, some components in it are all removed. The whole idea being that they want to reduce the weight of it so that when used on drones like this, you get longer flight time and in many cases to easy maneuverability, because the drones are light and you want to be able to move your way around when flying. Now that is the context behind having lightweight GoPro cameras. The GoPro Hero 10 Black Bones, which is the stripped down version of their latest version GoPro 10, has a few things going wrong for it, and I want to touch on in this video. There's a ton of videos out there which repeat the same thing when it comes to the GoPro Hero 10 Black Bones, and there's not much to review when it comes to the bones because it is exactly the same as the normal size one with just a few components removed. Now, the first problem I have with this, and I put them down in a notepad which I'm going to go step by step, so stay with me here.
And just hear me out for 1 second.
The first issue I have has to do with how expensive this camera is. Without a subscription, it sells for $550-ish, which is exactly the same as the normal GoPro. Now, here's why there's a problem with that pricing. So for the GoPro Hero 10 Black Bones, in order for it to come in lower weight, which means they have to strip away many of the components. All of those components are removed from it, and yet it is selling for the same price as the normal one. What are these components I'm referring to? One, no GPS, no screen, no durability, no waterproof, no beeping, no stereo microphones, no USB-C, no battery, no case, and no ND filter as well. So what? 10 features are removed from this GoPro Bones, but then it is selling for the same price as the normal one without subscription on GoPro Subscribe. Why is that the case? Why are all these components, all these features removed, yet it is still selling for the same price? Well, just think about this. Imagine there's a Tesla, let's say $50,000, and then there's a lighter weight version of the Tesla with no seats, no battery pack, no roofing, no tires, no doors, but then they're selling it also exactly for $50,000. How is that even possible? How does that make any sense? Now, the argument I have heard is, manufacturing, one, they are not producing this camera in large quantities, which means economies of scale. it's going to cost them more to make lower number of units, which is fine. But they've removed up to 10 key components of what makes the normal one the normal one we know. So removing 10 solid features still doesn't bring the price down even by $1. How do you explain this? How is that even possible? In this case, I don't think the Hero Bones is going to probably get into their market share for even 1 or, well, for a stretch 5% of their yearly sales when it comes to GoPro units. But FPV is it's a growing community. There are brands like the Firefly, which makes the Firefly X Lite. They also have different action cameras in their product line. We have the SMO 4K from Insta, and we have the DJI Action as well, and then GoPro. And so GoPro's monopoly ends up ripping off, FPV pilots for this price point. Many of my issues with the camera I'm going to discuss, things I think is wrong with it, are all kind of dependent on the fact that the price is too high. How is this even possible? Let me know in the comment section what you think about it. To remove 10 key features, components, hardware components in some cases, only for the price to be exactly the same as the normal one. Somebody make it make sense. The other thing too is it comes with pretty much nothing. Now, let me show you what came in the box. This is the camera. And the box, these are the only thing that comes in the box, only this. So this is $550, like assuming you don't go through the subscribe. This with limited features, with limited functionality, with removed components. They couldn't even throw in one of these cables, which is more like a polarity check when it comes to powering it on. They only added a cable which you would have to solder to your flight controller, which is not how many using these kind of lightweight cameras do. They have one camera which they put on multiple drones. Do they want me to buy 2 or 3 of these if I have 2 or 3 drones? The package comes with none of these components, and so this is from the Firefly. Now, for a $150 Firefly purchase, I got all these accessories in the box for a $150 purchase. So for a $550 product, GoPro couldn't even add in accessories that would make it easy for people to use. The only way they want you to use it out of the box is to solder it to one drone, or then you have to go and buy an adapter and solder it to something like this. Why do stress for how expensive it is? How couldn't it have come with something like this? The other thing is with how it works. So when you plug in the power, you have to also press the power button to turn it on. Wait, what? I don't understand. For the Firefly, for instance, which is a product very well thought out, immediately you plug in the power, it turns on. If you want to turn it off, you can't turn it off. GoPro, immediately you plug in the power, you also have to manually press the power button. The whole idea behind this lightweight is immediately you plug in power, the idea is you are about to fly. Like, it's not like an action camera where the normal one where you use it in other scenarios. In this case, immediately power comes through it. It's likely you are about to fly. Whether you are powering it on, soldered it to the flight controller, or in this case, using this cable. Immediately I make this connection, the chances of me going to fly is 99.9. Like, that is why it's powered on. So why do I need to press the power button again? These are all steps that if you forget, it means you might fly losing the shot you planned. Hi, Future Me here, editing the video, and one part I forgot to mention is the beeping feature that is missing in the GoPro. Now, the issue with that is, for example, on my Firefly, when I am about to fly, all I do is listen for the beeps. It helps me know my camera is not recording. For whatever reason, sometimes I can start recording and then it will stop before I go airborne. In this case, when it's beeping, I get to know maybe something happened, recording stopped, and then I can manually like trigger it again. In this case, there is no beeping functionality on the GoPro Hero 10 Black Bones, which means it's easy to forget. Now, you have to check it, but the beep is an extra step to remind yourself that yes, I pressed it and yes, there's no issue with it, and so it's actually recorded. That beep is super important and it's one of the missing features on this GoPro. For how expensive it is, I expected it to have something of that sort, but it doesn't, and it's weird. The USB-C lack of it is terrible, and it's one of the biggest flaws with this device. The only way to power this is via the port here. I don't know what port it is, but that's the port. It has no USB-C. The Firefly X Lite comes with it. For a $550 camera, they could even throw in a USB-C, and you'd be like, maybe they wanted to limit the weight and whatnot. How much difference is a USB-C port going to do in terms of weight difference? And how much is that going to affect flight time? 10 seconds? 15 seconds? In any case, the lack of USB-C means anytime you are done flying, you have to manually pull out the SD card and connect it to your phone through an adapter or your PC. But with a USB-C port, you could just plug in and plug into that without any issues. You don't have to yet carry another adapter when you are going on a shoot. Extra items that you need to carry just to be able to pull off data from it. Why for an expensive device comes with so much headache? Anytime I'm done flying, I need to push, pull, push, pull. How good is that for the lifespan of even the SD card? Is that a good idea? But with a USB-C, somewhere here, you could just plug in, connect the data, immediately you put the SD card in, there can be a slot here that protects the SD card, no issues, simple as that. But no, it comes with none. Okay, now let's go to the software. The Hero 10 Black Bones is running exactly the same thing from the standard Hero 10. Now, where is the issue? You get to see all the features from the normal GoPro, although this does not have it. Why am I seeing screen, whether the screen should turn off? Why am I seeing screensaver? Why am I having the option for beeping when this doesn't have a beeper? Why is it not possible for all those functionalities to be omitted from the UI so that when I'm going through the menus, I'm only seeing things that are specifically related to this camera? Why do I have to see all those functionalities that are not applicable to this? The GPS and all of those. I would imagine that this camera would run a firmware exactly like the GoPro, which is fine, but then be able to report what functionality or features are available. So immediately the camera turns on, it knows GPS is not available, beeper is not available, screen is not available, which means the mobile app will automatically adapt and display only the functionalities that are available in this. In this case, I get to see everything, which makes the menus bloated. For a $550 device, I'm expecting something better. And then the last but not least has to do with how difficult it is connecting this thing to a phone. Now, with a screen, it's easier to at least fiddle with some of the settings and change from 2 GHz to 5 GHz or whatnot to be able to figure out what will be detected by your phone. In this case, the first time I tried connecting, rocket science. I had to keep trying until a pop-up came up saying, you want to try with 2.4 GHz? And I was like, yeah, try that. And it worked. In this case, there is no way, because there is no screen on this thing, to be able to change it, even if it's not working. If that question didn't come up, or I didn't see it, or whatnot, I would still not be able to connect. Why is it so hard? For a $550 device, I would expect something better. Now, this is not to say this camera is outright, trash. The question is it still a good purchase? Unfortunately, yes. And why? Because none of the competition is doing anything when it comes to the action scene. Let me tell you why. The Firefly X Lite is really great for the price point and for how light it is and the accessories it comes with, except the video quality is not great. So it's an all-round great user experience and everything, but the camera quality is not great. Let's say this is 100% in video quality. The X Lite is somewhere, let's say 60, 65. The other is the Insta360, the SMO 4K. Also very buggy when it comes to the software. Their flow state is nothing close to hyper smooth on the GoPro. With a terrible software, not so great user experience. Also comes, I think, when they ship it, they don't add any accessory to it, so you are on your own, at least at the time I bought it. And then the camera quality, if this is 100%, that is somewhere maybe 75, 80. The stabilization, nothing to write home about as well. Not a real competition, to say the least. Insta camera, there are Insta360 cameras too. I made a video about the 1-inch made by Leica, and you can find it here, where I didn't like the camera at all and it got damaged within the shortest period of time. That is not a real competition to GoPro as well. What would have been a better option is the DJI Action, the Action 2. Except DJI managed to dig their own grave and bury themselves. The Action 2 would have been a great solution for FPV pilots because it comes, the smallest model, the camera model is, I think, under 60 grams, and so would fit right on FPV drones. Except as a whole package, it's not very exciting when it comes to what it offers. So internal storage is 32 gig with no expandable option. Really terrible choice there by DJI, because I remember I could fill 128 gig in a single day on my DJI Action camera, and that was like just a normal day. So if they were going to make it inbuilt storage, the minimum they could have done was 256 if you are not going to allow me to put in an SD card. But then they failed. Now, if you fill it up and you want to copy, the camera module comes with no connector, which means you now have to struggle, connect it to the other module before you can pass in data. How fast are you going to copy this? But if it's an SD card, you can have multiple SD cards on you. You just pop it out, pop in another SD card, you are good to be airborne. Terrible user experience there from the Action. And so that also doesn't really cut it for me. Now, the DJI Action has really good camera relatively to the first two I mentioned. And so you could think of it as, enough competition. None of the others are doing anything serious. And so GoPro manages to get away with putting something like this on the market. In any case, that is my thoughts on the Hero 10 Black Bones so far. I have shot some videos with it. You can find a link in the description to go and watch it on the FPV Africa channel. As a camera, it's amazing. As an overall package, it lacks in a lot of areas considering the price point. And I really hope to see maybe the price coming down in the near future or something, because as it stands now, it's more like a luxury device than an actual thing that people will be willing to afford. Considering it's not waterproof too, then it means what? Anyway, these are my thoughts on the GoPro Hero 10 Black Bones. And yeah, if you are considering getting it, these are some of the things to keep in mind whilst you go out to get it. If you don't have this connector, you might get this adapter whilst you purchase so that you can start using it easily when it comes, if you don't plan to connect directly to your flight controller. You can find a link to watch my review of the Insta360 1-inch mod in the description below. I'm going to put the link here as well. So yeah, let me know your thoughts about this camera in the comment section below, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. Thanks for joining me in this one. My name is Kofi, and I hope to talk to you in the next. Bye.